Hey guys, welcome back to Corey Has Spoken. So, there's been all this talk about Khamzat Shemaev here recently. I want to talk about another guy who is a little bit later to the party, but is finally getting the memo and finally getting off his ass and just being brilliant. And that guy's name is Shavkat Rakhmonov. I hope I'm saying that right because I would hate to take a spinning wheel kick to the face from this guy. All right. He is an amazing fighter who has a lot of parallels with Khamzat Shemaev. These guys are from the same region of the world. They both started their UFC careers right around the same time. But I think that Rakhmonov has, especially recently, begun to see the rise, the huge meteoric rise of Khamzat Shemaev, and I think it's got him feeling some sort of way. Um, I think he's wondering why he's not getting the love. And this just goes to show you no matter how good of a fighter you are in the UFC, there is always going to be a little element of it being a popularity contest. It just is. It just is. Whether you like it, whether you love it, whether you hate it, or whether you're just indifferent, it is somewhat of a popularity contest. The same reason they're even talking about considering giving Conor McGregor a fight with the lightweight champion when he comes back. Why would they talk about that? It's a popularity contest. To a degree, it's a popularity contest. Rakhmonov and Shemaev are perfect examples of this. And I'm going to tell you why. Although Rakhmonov's rise in the UFC has been quieter, it is arguably equally as impressive as is Shemaev's. Now, of course, you have Shemaev, who has now faced a number two contender in Gilbert Burns and beat him. But Shavkat Rakhmonov, I want to start saying this guy's name, but he has finally gotten smart and he has finally reached out and started talking some shit online to Khamzat Shemaev. And I'm not going to go into a lot of the details of what these two guys are talking about and what they're saying back and forth online and on Twitter and all that. I don't get into that sort of thing. But let me just say this. Rakhmonov is calling out Shemaev in a big way now, as he should. And Shemaev has responded. But Rakhmonov is 15 and 0. Yes, you heard me correctly. Rakhmonov is 15 and 0 in his MMA career with I think only 3 fights in the UFC. And, so why are we now seeing Rakhmonov come out of nowhere and began chopping it up with Shemaev now? Well, I'm going to tell you why. Because from the PR perspective, Shemaev has been playing this thing to a T, dude. He's been playing this to a T. Rakhmonov, not so much. You know, why have we not heard Rakhmonov's name like we've heard Shemaev's name? Is it because Rakhmonov's just not as good? Is it because he's not as impressive or we think he's not as good of a fighter? Dude, go look the guy up. Go look the guy up. I just had to do a video on this guy because as I'm looking at him and I'm looking at his record, I'm looking at his highlights and I'm looking at him now finally starting to crawl out from under the rocks that he's been hiding under and put his name out there on social media, it's become clear that some guys are just better at the PR aspect of this industry. They just are. And Rachmanov is one of those guys that's just a little bit late to the party. He's finally getting to that point where he's realizing, ah, I see. It's not all about how you fight because I've been murdering everyone that they put me up against. Just as much, if not more, than has Shemaev. and look where Shemaev is, and look where I'm at. So Rachmanov has finally seen the light, so to speak, and has come out of the woodwork and began to attach himself to a big name like Shemaev. Like I said, they're from the same region of the world. They began fighting in the UFC right around the same time. But Rachmanov is hella impressive, man. And I'm only speaking this guy's name because I want to do my part in helping to create this new star. It's worth it. If you've not gone and watched his fights, watch him, man. Let's start saying this guy's name. He deserves to be up there where Shemaev is at. Shemaev is what? Was he 12 and 0 now? I guess. I think he's 12 and 0. And Rachmanov is 15 and 0. I mean, he's barely ranked in the top 15. I think he's ranked maybe number 13. So he's up there. He's ranked. But dude, why do you not hear of him? You don't hear of him because it's not all about how you fight. You know, Shemaev, despite having broken English, despite the language barrier, has done an amazing job of getting his point across, really promoting himself outside of the octagon. And, you know, one of the things that we saw with him in this fight with Gilbert Burns recently is that he's human. And, you know, really, 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 it was us that built him up the way we did. Really, it was us that made him invincible. It was us that made him a cyborg. It was us that made it seem like this guy could not be beat. And, you know, we played our part in doing that because once he started to drop his name out there, once he started to chatter a little bit online, and, you know, a few other fighters kind of verbally sponsored him as well, saying, yeah, man, he's really good. He's this, he's this, he's that. You know, the hype train just began to pick up speed and it just never stopped. You know, but what we saw this past weekend is he's human. He's a fighter. You know, he has weaknesses. He has chinks in his armor, as does any fighter. And, you know, a lot of people are like, oh, you know, he's not as good as we thought. No, he's as good. He's as good. He did exactly what he was supposed to do. It was us that built up this spectacle in our minds of this invincible, immortal human being. You know, and it was us, the fans, that did that. And, you know, of course, it sells his brand. So, of course, you know, he played the part, Shemaev that is, and he didn't correct us when we said that he was this immortal human being who was just going to smash everyone. Of course, he didn't correct us and say, no, I'm not going to smash. No, brother, I'm not going to smash. It was us that built him up to that. And then when he goes in there and actually looks human, we're like, oh, he's not all he was. No, he's not all he's cracked up to be. No, no, we just made him more than he actually was in the first place. He was always human. He always had the ability to get hit, to get caught, to get rocked. If he was in a fight with someone who was as talented and as good as Gilbert Burns. I want to see that rematch, by the way. I mean, I know they're saying Colby's next, but man, come on, man. Can we get that rematch? It was an amazing fight, an absolutely amazing fight. Anyway, looks like it's going to be Colby next. But Rachmanov put his name out there. He's finally gotten off of his ass and started doing a little bit of self promotion. He's finally starting to get it. He's watching his counterpart, Shemaev, from the same country that he's from, making this amazing rise into the upper echelon of the welterweight division. And he's looking and going, damn, I could do that. I could do that. He's 12 and 0. I'm 15 and 0. I'm 15 and 0. What about me? So he's jumped online now and he's done a smart thing. He's attached himself to the name of Shemaev, and Shemaev is taking the bait. And I'm not sure why he's doing that because you don't punch down. And right now, Shemaev's kind of punching down. I mean, he just defeated the number 2 Gilbert Burns. Rakhmonov is, you know, not even ranked in the top 10. He's like I just said, he's somewhere at 13, maybe even 15. And not only that, but have you seen this guy fight, man? I mean, this guy is, he's there, dude. He's there. This guy is a star waiting to happen. So I'm not surprised that Rakhmonov is taking the approach he's taking and going after Shemaev. I am somewhat surprised to see Shemaev stabbing back at him on social media because, dude, you just beat the number 2 guy. You know, one more fight against Colby, you're going to be challenging for the title. Why are you punching down at number 13 Rakhmonov, who is really, really good and could possibly beat you? Why are you doing that? Anyway, I think that's why he deleted his comment. That's kind of what I'm getting at. I think that Shemaev realized, because Rakhmonov starts poking at Shemaev online, and Shemaev said something back, and then he deleted it. Well, why did he delete it? Because you don't punch down, dude. You don't punch down at the number 13 or the number 15 guy, especially when they're really, really, really good and undefeated like you are, when you just beat the number 2 guy and you're a fight away from getting a title shot. It just goes to show, man. Shemaev is still working on his skills within the octagon, but he's still working on his skills outside the octagon as well. Don't punch down, dude. Don't punch down. With that, I'm saying that from Shemaev's perspective. He doesn't need to punch down. Rakhmonov, he's doing exactly what he should do. Poking the bear, poking at Shemaev, who's been through this mammoth rise to the top of the division in the UFC. He's poking at that guy so he can get his name attached to that guy. And then everybody's going to look at Rakhmonov and say, well, dude, what about this guy? Look how good he is. He's 15-0, and he's trying to get his name in that hat so he can get one of those, top level fights with a top guy. Hey, put him in there, dude. Put him in there. I'm raising my hand. I want to see it. I want to see it. Get Rakhmonov a top 5 fighter. Let's go. Give him a top 5 fighter. Go check him out. Rakhmonov. Shavkat Rakhmonov highlights. All right, guys. Thanks for watching. Hit that subscribe button and ring the bell. I'll see you next time. Peace.